the belief in the power of the regular people and in their right to have control over the government rather than a small group of political insiders or wealthy elite. During the populist era, common people came together to reform politics and give a voice to the everyday men and women of America. Many people believe that The Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum was written as an allegory of the age of populism. Dorothy represents the American people and their values. She proves to be loyal, resourceful, and determined. She is the ideal American citizen. Toto represents the Prohibition movement that followed the Populist Party. The name Toto is a play on the word totalism, which is the practice of abstaining from the consumption of alcohol. The Scarecrow represents farmers. Farmers were often portrayed as simpletons who do not understand why they were having economic issues. Although he believed he was brainless, he demonstrates resilience and common sense. At the end, he figures out he's intelligent after all. The Tin Man symbolizes the industrial workers who were unemployed. When Dorothy and the Scarecrow found him, he was unable to work due to lack of oil. The oil represents money. The Cowardly Lion represents William Jennings Bryan, a politician who was a supporter of the Free Silver movement. His supporters thought he was courageous, but he was said to be a coward when he failed to fight for free silver. When the four main characters, Dorothy the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Lion, meet on the Yellow Brick Road, it signifies the formation of the Populist Party. The Twister symbolizes the Free Silver movement. The movement was often compared to a political cyclone that swept across Kansas. The Wicked Witch of the East represents the Wall Street bankers in New York and their gold standard political allies. Midwestern farmers often blame their problems on the wicked practices of the bankers and their captains of industry. The Wicked Witch of the West symbolizes William McKinley, who defeated William Jennings Bryan during the time of the Silver Movement. The Good Witches of the North and South symbolize the supporters of William Jennings Bryan. The Munchkins represent the common people of the East who are under the oppression of the captains of industry and Wall Street bankers. The Silver Slippers represented the monetary political issues of the time. A key plank of the populist platform was demand for free silver at a fixed ration of 16 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold. The Emerald City represented Washington, D.C., because the Emerald City was the political center of Oz. To get to the Emerald City, you would need to follow the Yellow Brick Road, which represented the gold standard. It was believed that to become powerful, you needed to support the gold standard. The Land of Oz was named after the abbreviation of the standard measure of gold, which is ounces. And finally, the wizards symbolized the politicians who had no sympathy for the common people unless they had something in return.
But everybody knows the story of Wizard of Oz, right? But you don't know about the big crash that happened in the 1890s. And if you compare the story and the monetary politics of the era, it's known as the populist era, it'll all suddenly jump out at you. The movie changed a few things that are not in the book. It was right here. You see it. Dorothy stood up and found she was in her stockings, for the silver shoes had fallen off her flight through the air and were lost forever in the desert. They're not ruby slippers. They're silver. And the Yellow Brick Road is not yellow in the book. It is gold. Gold bricks. In 1893, what you have to know is that farmers and miners helped form a free silver movement. And they were applying pressure to Congress. They were all pro-silver because they wanted to drive up inflationary rates. Why? For the same reason that our Fed is doing it now, to pay off their debts. They wanted to pay their land off cheaply and get cheaper loans. And instead of working within the system, they tried to get Congress to go in and intervene. At first, they rejected them. But then Congress was bought off, and Congress helped. Congress caved and provided a solution to the problem. And they mandated that the U.S. buy millions of ounces of silver. So people went out and they redeemed their silver notes for gold. But it wasn't long before the minimum limit of gold reserves was reached, and you couldn't redeem your gold notes for gold anymore. Remember, this is the time when gold coins were there. People didn't want the currency because they knew everything was being changed, so panic ensued. Well, no one knew it at the time, but The Wizard of Oz, which was written in 1900, was written based, according to some, on this silver crash and also subsequent economic crisis.